There have been a lot of videos on YouTube lately encouraging women to stand their ground, to say no if they don't want to do something and not feeling guilty about it. And I think perhaps our generation have become so used to saying yes and doing things that we don't really want to do, but just to keep everybody happy, we have said yes all our lives. And today I want to share with you a story of the day that I stood my ground and what it did for me. I was married for 28 years to the same man. It wasn't all bad, but one of the big pitfalls in our marriage, in our relationship, was his inability to have a serious conversation. If we talked about something fun, planning a holiday, something about the children, whatever, he was fine with that. But he got terribly defensive and just would not have serious conversations with me. And the times that he would just look away from me while I was talking and look at something else, look out the window, and sometimes go so far as to get up and actually walk away. How I didn't run after him and tackle him to the ground, I don't know, but, we didn't, did we? We just thought, well, there's nothing I can do about it. Anyway, our marriage eventually ended after 28 years. We'd had 3 children and we had grandchildren, and I felt that things should be made as normal as possible for them. It wasn't their fault that we'd got married in the first place, had them, or got divorced. So they shouldn't be made to feel awkward or embarrassed or anything in any way. And we had a couple of family get-togethers because naturally, having children and grandchildren, we had events that came up. And he was rude at every event. He was dismissive of me. And I know that it was not pleasant for the rest of the family to see parents and grandparents who were actually drawing attention to themselves. Anyway, I thought this just can't go on. We're going to have lots more events in the coming years, weddings and other important events. So I phoned him up one day and I said, will you meet me for coffee? Well, of course, being his normal defensive self, he said, why? What do you want? I said, no, I don't want anything. Would you just meet me for coffee? And he said, yes, all right. And we made a place and we met. So we passed a few pleasantries at first. We ordered our coffee. And then I said to him, look, this is what I want to talk to you about. We need to be friends. We're not married anymore. We're not in a relationship, but we can be courteous to each other. And we can put our children at ease when we're all at the same event. Because as it is right now, they're looking from one to the other to see what our reactions are going to be to something that might have been said. And we need to stop that. It's not their fault, and we need to really make them feel more relaxed and be friends with each other. Well, while I was talking to him, I was about just getting to the end of what I was saying, and to the point where there was going to have to be some reaction from him. And he did this. He looked out the coffee shop window, like he always used to look away from me. Looked at other people, looked around, looked around the other side of the coffee shop. I was talking to him while he was doing this. I quietly just put my hand into my handbag. I took out enough money to pay for the coffees and the tip, and I put it down on the table, and I pushed my chair back and stood up. Of course, that got his attention. He straight away looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "What you do to me and what you've done to me for the last 28 years, you have just done for the very last time. This time, I walk away." And I left the coffee shop. I walked out. And when I got outside, I felt like I'd had some sort of power given back to me. For the first time, I mean, I know it sounds like a small thing. It wasn't. It was huge in all those years. And for the first time, I'd taken control back. And so that's my story about standing up for myself. And yes, it was very late in my marriage and all the rest, but I'd also like to pass this message on to couples who are getting divorced, who have gone through a divorce. Don't let your children feel pulled apart by it. Even if it's not easy for you, try to be civil to each other. You're still the parents to those children, no matter if you're married or divorced. And it's our job as parents to nurture our children growing up, to not make them worried about their mum and dad and worried how we're feeling. Oh, look at dad, he's being rude to mum again. And oh, look at mum, really, she didn't have to say that. It's not the way it's meant to be. They didn't ask for the divorce. So that's what I leave you with. My little story and a plea to do your best to be friends with your spouse after a divorce. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe and come back again and enjoy lots more videos with me. Bye for now.